You're listening to episode 308 of the Major Issues Podcast, and on this episode, we cover the third season of Superman and Lois, one of the last remnants of DC's Arrowverse. The Major Issues Podcast starts right now! Hello everybody out there in comic book land. My name is George Serrano, aka The Don, and if you're listening to this, you can only be here for one reason, and that's a brand new episode of the Major Issues Podcast, brought to you each and every week by ComicBookClique.com, and as always, I am never alone. Sir, if you could please introduce yourself.
Hello. It's John Escudero, aka Yogi.
Yogi is here in the studio, but he's not alone. Other sir, if you could please introduce yourself.
I am your brother from an inverse mother, Gregory Thomas, aka GT Rebirth.
GT Rebirth is here as well. We got the Trinity in the house because we are covering a DC project, Superman and Lois Season 3. Man, I was a bit hesitant to come back to this place. I've been burned by many a comic book television show as far as quality, as far as cast changing, as far as budget cuts, and we heard a lot of all of that in preparation for Superman and Lois Season 3. But before we get all up into the nitty gritty of it all, I wanted to ask you gentlemen what you guys thought of the season, and what do you think of the season compared to others? If you've been a fan of how the way things are going, you think things are getting worse? Yogi, I will start with you.
I enjoyed it. I thought it was. I thought they went some interesting directions. Particularly the Lex part. I didn't think they'd introduce Lex at all, let alone this different, aggressive version. Yeah. I dug it. I really dug it. I thought I wish I hadn't, because I didn't watch it when it happened, so I knew what the cliffhanger was, and I kind of wish I hadn't known what the cliffhanger was.
Same.
I think I would have thought that they would agree that they were gonna kill Superman here. Like it oops. I fucked up. Am I back?
Yeah.
I was gonna say if I didn't know what that it was gonna cliffhang, like it was gonna hang us off a cliff like that, I would have thought that maybe like they were gonna do a Death of the Superman thing here.
Okay.
But I guess we'll talk about that in a little later. But I did enjoy it. I do think that I don't know if it's a decline in quality, or I don't want to say that, but it is a little less consistent, I guess. I don't know. I don't want to say that it's not bad, because it's not bad. It's just
no. I think we can talk through it. I think
it's been better.
Like I found the A plot points to be better in this, but maybe not necessarily the B plot points. Whereas in the past, I feel like the B plot points have been very strong. And then the A stuff, like the Ali Alstein stuff, wasn't great, in my opinion. Tauro worked, but there was a lot of getting around it to get to where we had to get with that. I really liked who they introduced as the antagonist for this season, Bruno Mannheim. And I like that they kind of played around with the idea that he's still a man of the people, even though he's, committed all kinds of crimes and stuff like that. But then every time it would go back to a certain former couple in a lot of former couples in this, I could find myself looking at my watch or looking at my phone and being like, okay, let's get back to the big fish of it all.
There was a lot of relationship drama. It was just a lot of it. Like there's usually a lot of interpersonal drama, but this was specifically like lovers, like all these Romeo and Juliet over here, and the ex-husband and ex-wife over here, and
I can only assume.
And I was like, God damn, this is like a Valentine's Day season.
I can only assume this is the horrors of living in a small town. This is all like people are just bored, so everyone's banging each other and everyone's in each other's business and everyone's hiding stuff from one another. But GT, big Superman fan. We've had you on here to talk Superman and Lois before. What do you think about season 3 and what do you think about it compared to the other seasons?
So the A plot is a massive improvement because I absolutely just checked out on Ali Austin.
Yeah, the inverse.
That was not great. Bizarro was cool, but like Ali herself just did not care.
Yeah,
that was not compelling. I guess you could say, I absolutely agree with all the relationship stuff, right? There's a lot of that going on. You get the continuing trials of Jordan and what's her face?
Sarah.
Oh my god.
Sarah Cushing. John had things to say about Sarah Cushing.
I hate her, I think. She's always got a fucking problem with something. Like, Jesus Christ, let things ride. Like, damn, let somebody fucking go through something. Just be there for her. Damn, you're a piece of shit. I want to be a friend. I'm gonna fucking judge you for every single goddamn thing you do. That's not a friend. You just get the fuck out of here.
It's really rough with that character because I feel like sometimes I wonder, like I get that same almost antagonistic feeling, and then I'm like, am I supposed to, or have the writers missed something in here?
The hilarious thing is, I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, I was gonna say they're trying to like litmus test you, and then like if you hate it, then you're like an evil misogynist. And you're wrong.
But like,
because she
the hilarious thing between those two is, for me, is that like they'll go through whatever bullshit they'll go through, and like maybe you'll pick sides and maybe you'll get annoyed with one or the other, or maybe you'll get annoyed with both of them, and then the show decides to remind you that they're both like incredibly neurodivergent teens, and you're just like
I'm a bit kind of I don't know if disappointed is the word, but I feel like Jordan's neurodivergency is convenient at times. Like, I don't feel like they've out and out. Like, he really could have been in a world where this is more prominent, or at least more identifiable, and like more people who can identify these issues, expressed, represented, all that kind of stuff. He really could have been something to that community of people, and I feel like once he got powers, he just kind of got cool. Like, now he's just kind of awkward. But we saw scenes where he got overstimulated, right? They had to literally hold him as we got one scene of that in this where he gets his X-ray vision, and we get to that. But I really was like, where'd that whole thing go?
I don't remember if we talked about it on here or maybe somewhere else, but I remember saying like it felt like that was only in the pilot, and then they threw that away.
Like, the conversation we had was that in the pilot, not only does Jordan have serious anxiety issues, but that Sarah Cushing had been suicidal.
Yeah. Oh, shit,
and then at one point, it seemed like they stuck with the anxiety, and Sarah's previous suicide attempt had seemed to have gone away.
Yeah.
Because it was like, okay, wait, we can't have two neurodivergents at the same time.
But then it's weird because they bring it up when Kyle cheats, because they say that's why he went back home.
Yeah.
Because of that incident with Sarah's suicide, and then they bring it up or a suicide attempt, and then they bring it up in this season when it seems like Sarah's kind of going in the same direction.
Your mother picked you up out of, what did he say? Out of the what? He said something to her. I can't remember the reference to Sarah about her mother being there for her when it happened.
Yeah. It was a bit rough.
So like that was it seemed like they only stuck to one particular character's neurodivergent issue at that point until like it was useful for the story to bring up Sarah's past again.
Right. As I was saying, like, I mean, there's a lot about that family that's convenient. We'll talk about a specific member in a bit that literally is just a living, breathing plot point.
I still remember. I still remember. Like, she doesn't expressly ask for that, but everyone's just like, did this bitch just suggest a throuple?
Yeah, right. I'm always like, yeah. Hey, Smallville. It gets boring.
I want my boyfriend to be friends with my kind of girlfriend, and it's like, wait, what?
She's also off the map, right?
No,
I don't think they've mentioned anything about that. They just cut that whole plot point out. Okay, guys, so
she's got less scenes than the little sister. That's saying something,
right? So, what if you could name one thing? What's one thing that works about this series / season for you, and what's one thing that doesn't?
I think I'll let Greg go. I have to think about it.
One thing that I'm surprised to say, the cancer stuff.
Yeah,
that worked for me. The cancer stuff worked a lot for me. And I guess I don't want to use two answers, but like it sort of ties into the fact that I thought the direction they had gone with Mannheim ended up working for me, because those two things I think are sort of intrinsically tied in.
Okay.
Because I did not expect that. What didn't work? That's I guess that's tough, because I guess you'd end up going back to the whole Jordan and Sarah thing. Or no, you know what? I'll say Jordan's arc with his father.
Okay. You think they didn't see that through?
Half baked.
Just because I get that he's a teenager and he's young, and young people make stupid decisions, but I have zero sympathy for Jordan in this situation.
Yeah.
I give you that. I give you that, Yogi.
One thing that worked really well, I thought, was the thing that I enjoyed the most, I guess, was, usually I don't like when they change big lore things, but doing Bizarro as Doomsday was cool for me, because it actually ties back to the way Bizarro debuted in season 2, where they teased that it would be Doomsday. And he's busting out of the suit. He's busting out of the suit, and it ends up being Bizarro, but like then it ends up actually being Doomsday.
So I guess if you're long enough, it does connect those dots. Yeah.
I was like, oh shit.
You're like, oh shit,
did they really do it?
You're like, oh shit, is it Doomsday? And then it's like, no, it's not Doomsday. You're like, well, it kind of is now.
Well, I mean, yeah. I can't believe they showed the suit and we didn't even get Doomsday. Where are you in Superman and Lois? keep watching.
I thought that was really cool. And then, of course, I complained about the relationship stuff, because I just thought there was a lot of it. I thought there was too much of it. Now they're going to get forced away from it.
Even you're not into Chrissy Beppo and
you see, if they would have done that, right? If they would have done that, right, as like the B, or not the B, definitely not the B, but like the C
plot,
like the C plot, like that would have been fine. But it was like the E plot, because there was like 17 fucking relationship things going on at the time.
Right.
You mean you weren't compelled about General Lane getting back on Tinder?
What was that even about? Like, what are we doing? Why is that happening?
He was kind of underserved in
our
season.
Time for.
You gotta get the General laid.
I mean, the Lois, when he was around with Lois for cancer stuff, that was perfect, because he's your father or whatever. And by the way, with the cancer stuff, I thought it really landed emotionally, but I just kept thinking, like, they're playing it as if Lois is like losing her hair and shit. But I was like, her fucking hair isn't changing a single bit. And it's I don't mind.
Right.
She's wearing the hat, right? But nothing's happening.
But she's not bald. And there's like a scene right before she wears the hat. She's got the full head of hair, and then she puts the hat on like if she's got patches and shit. But then she takes it off. It's not like she's leaving the hat on so they can just disguise the hair the whole time. She takes the hat off, and she's got a full head of hair the whole time.
I think I started waiting for like her to get the haircut from My Adventures.
Yeah. I thought she was gonna shave.
I thought that it kind of helps that Elizabeth Tulick is kind of thin and frail.
She's a very petite woman, yeah.
For the sort of ravages through sickness part of the series, but I totally get it. Like she's a small petite woman, so you were able to sell both the ravages of the cancer and like the double mastectomy under some clothes. Yeah. So for me, what worked is I loved, and this is something that's continued throughout the series, but I loved that neither Superman nor Lois are perfect. Sometimes they will go to great lengths to make the love interest so perfect that the hero just can't, like Invincible, the hero just can't get right. And after so many tries, he just kind of puts his foot in his mouth kind of stuff. Or the other way around, where he's an angel like Peter Parker, right? And, the girl may not be great for him, or like the whole Sarah Jordan kind of situation. But I like this couple's dynamic. I like that they call each other out on their shit. It may take a while, but I like those moments where they do have discussions. I feel like they're asking the right questions. They're saying the right things. It doesn't feel like how the Flash hallway conversations felt after a while. Where I'm like, oh, we're going to the talking hallway. We're about to have
to need to give you this exposition right now.
Right, 100%. Like when they're arguing over her treatment and whether or not anyone else gets a say in that. That's a conversation, right? Like who would have thought that was something that we would be dealing with in here? And we'll go over some of the other bigger questions that it raised, but I thought that was really, really well done.
They took it very seriously.
Yeah. You could tell they consulted with people, who are dealing with this, and it is a widespread, situation that is affecting so many families around the world. So, I like that layer of it all. I think it could have been a little quicker. I was never really bored with it, but even when going through my notes, it is pretty cut and dry. Like the series of events, it's pretty easy to follow, point A to point B. But like you said, there are certain plot points that just kind of fall off by the wayside. I had asked you off air, GT, if Jonathan ever confessed to his girlfriend that he cheated, which was like a big thing in like the first couple of episodes. And then I don't think they ever did anything with it. I don't think he ever told her because she moved. So he was like,
you know how I know he didn't you know how I know he didn't confess?
I didn't think he had to
because I forgot it happened.
He shouldn't have told. And I don't think he should have told her. I don't think that should have, because he handled it. Telling her would just be like
moral high road, Jonathan, ladies and gentlemen.
he I don't understand in what world, like in this world where Superman exists and all these things happen. That's
real heroes. That's real heroism.
Where that teenage pubescent boy full of hormones turns down the chick who not only is trying to be with him, who says, I don't care that you have a girlfriend. I won't tell anybody. He's like, also,
here's a gold chain.
Here's some jewelry.
Here's some wealth.
That shit. He's like, wait.
So
this I'll keep.
For what it's worth, though, and I think it's worth speaking on because this is where like the situation can often get a little dangerous. Like where one can speak to John's particular morality skew is when you are a family that is hiding a secret as huge as my father is the alien super being that you all worship. What is a lie of I kissed this girl?
It's for the greater good. It's for the same reason why you didn't tell them about your pops. It's for the greater good.
I guess.
Why did you tell me that you kissed this girl? The same reason I didn't tell you that my dad was Superman. How the fuck are you going to react to that?
How does this Jonathan compare to the original?
I was going to bring that up as well. I don't think there's a huge change.
I don't want to punch him.
Okay, so that's what I was going to say. The original one, Jordan Elias, I want to say is, or El Size. Like it's really hard to pronounce his last name.
Oh no.
He like came off as smarmy and kind of like a jock and kind of jerky, but I think that was to offset Jordan and his timidness. This one just kind of just seems like a all around good kid, all around good American boy,
good old American boy,
which then meant that his entire kind of storyline is a bit humble. Like he doesn't really do anything wrong the whole season. In comparison to like the last season, he like did XK, and then he like his girlfriend was selling XK, and he broke up the football team or whatever. He cost them the whole season because he was on drugs and flipping out and trying to injure people. So like this was a huge departure from that.
You're stuck with not stuck with, but like you remain with the same through line of John feels like the lesser brother because of the genetics just haven't kicked in for him like it has for Jordan.
Yeah.
But he just because of the different actor and the different way, like he just comes off as much less of a dick about it.
I think that the other actor by leaving robbed the show of Jonathan feeling like there was development because it feels like a whole new character. Like
yes.
there's a whole new person playing him. He looks more like the family. They even say in the show like they look so much alike. You could not have got away with that line if it was still the other two brothers, the other Jonathan. Like it feels like a whole new guy. I think if the original Jonathan that looks like a dick was still playing this Jonathan going through all this maturity, it would have came off a little better.
So like I think I understand what you mean. I even though I didn't quite feel it here, I know what you mean because I'm reminded of Game of Thrones when that one character went from Ed Skeirin to another dude, and you're just like, this is a completely different person.
I promise you, I am the same.
Remember all the good times we had.
Do you remember what I'm talking about, John?
It's not. There was a couple that I'm thinking of. Not the mountain, right?
No, the character that's like flirting with Daenerys all that time.
Oh my god, her boyfriend, the dude that she banged.
And it goes from the dude that's in Deadpool as the villain to a completely different guy, and you're just these are two completely different. These are two absolutely different people.
It was a loser. It was like a nondescript dude.
So like George, like you remember the villain from Deadpool?
Yeah.
He's in there with this long hair, and he's got this suave attitude, and everything comes out of him really smoothly. And then they hire another actor, and he's just like a dude.
Hey, baby, you want to see me later? No.
Okay. Terrible. Terrible. But you get it. Like, I get it. Like, everyone's giving this Jonathan crap, and I'm like, why is everyone being so mean to him? He's a nice boy. And then I have to remember all the other sins
looks like a nice
the other one committed. I was like, oh, yeah, he did do all that XK stuff. He did do all that football stuff. Oh, my gosh. Okay.
He looks like the kind of guy who wouldn't cheat on his girlfriend. But that's why it would have worked better if it was the other guy, because he doesn't.
With his annoying face and his massive blue eyes.
He's like, hey, listen, I can't. I'm fucking mature now. I'm just like my dad, but only on the inside, not on the outside. I don't have any of his powers.
Where it matters. So the thing that didn't...
I just want my fire team to respect me.
He has no friends. The thing that didn't work for me in this, I'll say, is that I feel at several moments, and we'll talk about it, and I think Sarah, a lot of it is Sarah, but there's several moments characters are written where I'm not sure how I'm supposed to feel. Like, am I supposed to be happy in this moment? Or is this like a weird, we don't have heels or baby faces kind of thing? Like, you're supposed to feel how you feel about this.
I think that is meant to be
good guys.
Like, I think it's meant to be laid there for you to decide how you feel about it, kind of thing, because they do a lot of that on this show.
I felt like that.
To be
like,
fair, I think
Kyle
they do a lot of that on modern television these days.
They did that when she got slapped. I felt like, I mean, she was,
yeah, right. You're like, wait a minute, and then when the truth comes out, you're like, yeah, we knew the truth. The truth, we knew that why she deserved that slap. So it felt like we kind of wasted time babying her for a little bit afterwards. So I'm just like, what's going on here? Yeah, I really started to wonder about certain things. I'm like, am I supposed to feel this way about even Kyle at certain points? At one point, he's antagonistic, and I'm like, am I Jordan? At one point, he gets angsty, and I'm like, what's going on here? I'm like, y'all all bugging right now.
Though. Everyone was dramatic and angsty at one point.
Sam is just a jerk. He just invites old girl to the movies so he could bring her to the DOD school.
I want to experiment on you. I mean, be your grandfather.
yeah.
Speaking of characters who like, I'm not sure how I'm supposed to feel about. We all had an opinion on this. I had a very loud one. I'm just gonna bring it up right now and get it out of the way. I want to discuss that we had a whole episode about Sophie Cushing being neglected by the writing team.
Yeah, we can talk about that because this is something we talked about in other seasons.
John came to me. John just started talking about something, and I was just like, "Oh, you got to that episode."
The Sophie episode.
It's got to be meta at this point, right? Like they have to know. This has to be a joke.
I thought so.
I thought they had to address that little girl doesn't show up by making it so that she's actually being neglected. She's being
where she can walk from her house to the county fair.
They don't even care.
No one's batting an eye.
They don't give a fuck.
And like to the point where like I know the way this is being written and being presented is I'm supposed to feel bad for the fact that this little girl feels a little unimportant. But all I'm doing is laughing about the fact that nobody fucking noticed she was gone.
The show is telling you she's unimportant. Like it told you up until this point. Go ahead.
Here's the best part. Nobody learns a lesson over this little girl. There's no arc. Right? They don't. Right. They lose her. They neglected her for years, is what we're told. So not only has it gone from a joke to canon that she is a neglected child, they don't even learn a lesson. Jonathan solves it for them and brings her home, and they just take her and we're supposed to hope and believe that they're gonna fix their fucking life and things are gonna be different now.
And
bro,
what happens?
Even bring her to go
Sophie isn't on TV for several more episodes,
and we never see her again almost.
No,
so she
they don't even bring her around.
To be neglected.
They don't even bring her around for the fireworks, bro. Like they do all that by themselves.
She sits in her room crying, wondering where's Jonathan.
She better be the season. Yeah, the villain for season 2
about her.
In a worse TV show, there would be a very unhealthy relationship developed between Sophie and Jonathan.
I love that they bonded over our family don't care about us. Yeah. That was his line. He was like, yeah, they don't care about me either. I was
like, so we should run away together. Wait, what?
Wait, what?
No.
Whoa. That was not the lesson I was trying to go with here.
I'm not a groomer.
All right, let's get into the rest of this series. And we will talk about how the sequence of events unfolded. I was gonna say spoiler alert, but I'm pretty sure we've just been spoiling things all willy nilly. But basically, things kind of kick off when one of Superman's villains, who had already been taken care of, Henry Miller, comes back all crazy, and he's obviously sick. Superman finds out with his X-ray vision that he's got a bunch of tumors around him, and he's like, the guy's just acting unhinged. Superman tries to get some answers and apprehend him, but he is killed by the right-hand assassin of, we'll find out later, is a Bruno Mannheim. I thought the mask was a bit vaginal. I now know it's supposed to be like a rose or something, maybe, or a speaker or some sort of.
Wasn't she? I thought she was automatopoeia. That's what she looked like.
Did you know that? Did you know that? Yes. Did you know that?
I did know that because I always thought automatopoeia was interesting because the way it's pop. It is a he. Right.
And yeah, he was created by Kevin Smith. I'll never forget that because he says it every chance he can that he created automatopoeia.
His powers are cool. And these powers are just Black Canary, like the way she should have been on Arrow.
Basically, but I do like the bullets. I do like the voice bullets. I think that's kind of cool.
It doesn't. I don't understand it.
But when I
found out, then it falls apart.
No, I mean, like, I know, not science. Like, just like, what is she? I guess she's making those sounds so they happen, right? So it's kind of the closest thing to automatopoeia that you can do on the TV.
I guess.
Yeah, it used to be like he would say bang and it would bang.
Yeah,
he would say, certain things.
See, you could have done it. Like how much would it have cost to do it?
They don't have money, bro. These guys are out. They got their clanging their cups against the bars. But when I found out that this character was called Onomatopoeia, I rolled my eyes deeply to the back of my head. You know why? Because the character is Onomatopoeia.
Oh my God! Shut the fuck up!
Did you not bridge that?
No, I don't try to bridge these things.
I ran to GT the moment it hit me, and I'm like, I am disgusted. I am disgusted.
I didn't even notice. Like, I forgot onomatopoeia was a thing.
Throw the whole show away now. Fuck with you. Onomatopoeia.
And he sent me the mask, and I thought, like, my first thought was like, the mask looks like one of those things you see in those stupid images where it's just like those weird body horror things you see on people's skin.
Right.
Yeah. Shut the fuck up.
Like some people are scared of these bullshit.
Yeah.
You're gonna be thinking about that onomatopoeia thing for a while.
I'm never gonna get over that. I didn't need this.
Onomatopoeia. Let's just give her that.
Pia.
Bonkers.
Onomatopoeia Mannheim.
So they interrogate Judge Reagan, who released Henry Miller because he was dying of a sickness. She is obviously being silenced by Bruno Mannheim, the leader of Inner Gang, which is a crime syndicate. They started in Hobbs Bay and have spread into Metropolis. It turns out Bruno has been granting terminally ill criminals with superpowers via a combination of Superman's blood, taken from when he lost his powers in season 2, and I think a little bit of XK, which seems to always be around in Smallville, just in general. It's just trace amounts.
The good stuff. You never get rid of it. They're going to be smoking it.
This usually doesn't last long.
Not as good as the green light.
No. Oh, come on. This usually doesn't last long as their symptoms come back more aggressively, leading to Bruno either upping the dosage or letting them die. He's been doing all this with the help of a Dr. Alistair Hook. Turns out Bruno grew up in Hobbs Bay, a poor area of Metropolis nicknamed Suicide Slums, as there was a wave of residents taking their own lives out in despair. His neighborhood was built next to a toxic waste dump, and many residents, including his own mother, became sick and died. What do you guys think about this? The introduction of this character, Bruno Mannheim, played by... I just had that on the tip.
Chad Coleman.
Chad Coleman?
Yeah.
Yeah, who was in The Walking Dead. So this is another comic book role for him.
Among other things.
Yes. He's been in a bunch of things. He's actually he's in It's Always Sunny as well. He pops up in that from time to time. He's quite...
See, it's funny. Like you have two roles, and it's none of the things I've seen him in.
Interesting. My man's getting work. What have you seen him in?
He plays an alien in the Orville, and he also plays a privateer in the Apple. Was it Apple? No, that Amazon show. It's called The Expanse.
Okay.
It was a sci-fi show that went to Amazon. Yeah, that dude's never out of work for too long.
What do you think about this man of the people, Bruno Mannheim?
I enjoyed Bruno Mannheim. First off, I want to note this is like the second or third occurrence I've heard of Superman doesn't go to the hood.
Yeah, it's a Black Lightning thing, right?
Yeah.
Wait a minute. Is he supposed to be alternate Tobias Church? Why is this? Who put this on Wikipedia?
Are you talking about Whale?
I don't think he's supposed to be an alternate Tobias
Somebody
Church.
put this on their Wikipedia, like without permission, I guess.
I highly doubt because there is a Bruno Mannheim. Why wouldn't he just be Bruno Mannheim?
Well, why exactly? What the hell?
So somebody thinks that this Bruno Mannheim is like a variant of Tobias Whale.
Yeah, I don't understand.
That's an odd choice.
Church is later revealed to be where? And then if you go to Tobias Church fucking thing, this is crazy. Wait a minute, what?
That last minute research is taking us places.
I'm telling you. But yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah. I said you're talking about Chad's character from Arrow.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Okay, because he brought up Black Lightning, and I thought you were talking about Tobias Whale.
No. Tobias Church on Arrow, who's played by the same guy.
I completely forgot about that
variant. What is it? Where is this revealed at?
Well,
no, I think that's bullshit.
Yeah, I think that's bullshit. But also, we shifted universes. We also shifted Luthers, right?
Yeah, we did.
We had yeah, we literally just
put on a few pounds.
Right.
Did you prefer Crier to this or what?
We'll get there. We'll get there. Because I got things to say. But yeah, talk to me about Bruno.
Yeah, I enjoyed Bruno Mannheim's whole thing through this. If I'm honest, like I expect it to be like, excuse me. I actually expected them to do the whole thing where like Clark and Lois really just kind of have their own adventures that intertwine at some point. Well, like I thought we were going to get more of Lois the journalist and Clark the superhero, and then like it just kind of becomes about there is a shared theme throughout the entire thing about family that it worked for me. It's
the lengths we go for those we love.
Yeah. It's all about people doing everything they can for their family, like Clark doing everything he can to make sure Lois is comfortable with her diagnosis and everything they're going through. The fact that Mannheim will go to dark places to keep Pia alive.
Even beyond the dark places, I thought a really cool moment that speaks to what you're saying was when he let Superman take her.
Yeah.
Because that was just a completely out of character, but it's like in character moment for what you would do for someone you love. Like, I don't give a fuck if it's Superman, take her. Like,
yeah.
I love that.
They kept making it a point to say that he had dirt under his fingernails, but like almost every time they upturned the rock, it was like, oh, he built a cancer facility. It's like, okay. Like I'm not saying the man hasn't done like bad stuff. But literally, once you are on his side, Sam Lane literally has to bring a box of bad stuff over to Superman's house to be like, remember, this guy is bad. He killed a lot of people. Here's pictures of those dead people. Every time you want to say Bruno Mannheim did a good thing, I want you to look at this real quick.
He was the best guy around.
Yeah.
What murder?
What about the people? What murder?
How do you feel about Bruno, Yogi? I mean, we have watched the Arrowverse for close to a decade now. There's been a million villains. How does Bruno stack up?
Well, I think the Arrowverse, like all the Arrowverse, there's a lot of villains that come before Bruno Mannheim. But that's not to say that he was a bad villain. He was
100%. He's not Ravager.
I didn't. Isabella, what was her name? She just got dumped.
She had a big head.
Oh my god!
She just banged. Didn't she bang Oliver and then?
Yeah, he banged a lot of people though. To be honest,
that's Summer Glau, right?
Yeah.
She's
like, I
just remember her mask having a big forehead because they had to put all her hair in it. So just like this alien versus Predator.
Aren't they supposed to share her last name?
Did she get hit by like a bus or something? Did she die really stupidly?
By a bus. She trips and lands on her sword.
Wait, really?
Fuck.
No, and then it goes. Dun, 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 dun.
God, I missed that.
Me too.
I don't mind that they changed up Bruno Mannheim's whole thing because otherwise he is kind of a run-of-the-mill crime lord guy.
Intergang.
Worked over by aliens, he gets in over his head and he gets possessed or he gets taken over by Darkseid.
I was gonna say it's hard to get past getting just played by Darkseid.
Yeah, exactly. I thought it was weird. It did kind of feel like I don't know. It gave me a little bit of a vibe of like Luke Cage when they had Cottonmouth as like the villain for the first 3/4 of the show, and then
if only you appreciated it nearly that much.
And then out of nowhere, they're like, "Wow, this is the villain now for the last."
And we're gonna go to Georgia for 2 episodes too. So pack your bags.
But we set up a whole new ass situation. Like, where the fuck did Lex Luthor come from? Like, they were talking. It didn't feel like they were setting up for this. Like, it just felt like he was main dropped. They were definitely building towards it in a story since like they talked about how he got set up and all this shit. But it didn't feel like this is where we were headed for Lex to just swoop in and take over the whole villain role.
Because we all keep our ears to the ground with this kind of stuff. I had already known that there was a new Lex casted, and unfortunately I couldn't escape the spoilers of Doomsday. So I know that these were 2 things incoming. It's like episode 8 nothing, 9 nothing, 10 nothing. I'm like, what's going on? 11
That's
nothing.
weird.
Yeah, I'm like, what's going on? And then 12 Luthor, and then 13 Doomsday, and I was like, okay, I guess. Yeah.
You know what it feels like? It feels like we started season 4 2 episodes with 2 episodes left in season 3.
They must have thought that they're not going to get 13 episodes next season. Like, we could just use some of those over here.
This is what they were doing. That's why they set it up so that it can end on that cliffhanger, just in case. We're gonna try to get some fan support. We're gonna gaslight the fan base into making sure they get this back, at least for one more.
Well, I did appreciate, at least as an idea, that that like Lois is basically put in a position to have her like journalistic integrity tested.
Yeah.
To where it's like, do I do what is the right thing, which is release a guy that I put away unjustly, even though he's a monster?
Right. And is that integrity? Is it that above all else?
Yeah.
But were they not addressing that very same kind of journalistic integrity moral debate by having her deal with the Bruno Mannheim and Pia thing? She was like, I don't know if I should run this story. I'm her friend, blah, blah, blah. And then it wasn't funny. Me.
I don't know if they could have done, like, she has the surgery and I think she goes into remission. And then they blame her for the years Alexa's been in jail. I don't think they could have done it at the same time. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's supposed to make you think, like, okay, well, because they say, like, he's like, you printed that. She's like, well, that was the data I had at the time. You know, but yeah, you still falsely imprisoned, through your words. You falsely imprisoned the man for 15 years. Somebody gotta, if we're accounting, somebody's gonna pay for that.
Yeah.
And we usually, our heroes is not 100% their fault. And I guess even in this instance, it's not hers, but yeah, it was a kind of a cool wrinkle to see, like she wasn't gonna retire. And so, I mean,
and I assume there is supposed to be sort of a lived-in assumption that even though he professes his innocence, nobody believes him because of years of impropriety.
Yes, and the thing is, because people have just been speaking about him like how they spoke about John Wick before we saw him in the first John Wick.
Yeah.
Again, I don't know how I'm supposed to feel. I hear that he's the devil. I hear that he's this. I hear he's that. I've not seen anything. I saw what he did in prison, but he was forced to go to prison unfairly.
He appears to enjoy the devil's music. No,
I just assume he's Lex Luthor, and they're all pieces of shit.
Yeah.
They're scum, one way or another. Even if he acts.
No, Injustice Lex was a decent guy.
Earth 3 Lex is a god, isn't he?
At least on Earth 3, everyone else is like inverse, so he has to be the opposing force no matter what. He's a piece of shit.
I like Joker, who is like a force of nature who's always shit.
I'm scum.
You know why this is my favorite Superman currently at the moment? Because he's the one with the most proof that he fucks. This Superman fucks. True. They get it on, and they get it on quite often, and they get it on all the time, which led them to think that Lois was actually pregnant. Turns out that she's not pregnant, even though she wanted a child. They do a whole conversation with her and Lana, like her reminiscing about motherhood and getting ready and wanting to have another kid, and them getting excited about it. Only to pull the rug out from under us. She has stage 3 breast cancer. It is aggressive. It is rare. And they've identified it, so they're going to work on it. But let's talk about this a bit. This whole idea, they're the first hurdles that they go through about explaining stuff. I thought Sam Lane did a incredible job of trying to take in the information, be strong, and then completely break down in that moment. Yeah. Lois seems to have the explanation rehearsed, kind of like she's telling everybody the same kind of steps, what they need to know, what she's going through here. But talk to me, GT, about how you felt about this whole the beginning stages of this cancer storyline, especially Lois's resistance to go to chemo.
Well, first off, I want to say I like Sam Lane a lot more post retirement.
Yeah, he's chill. He's pretty chill.
It's good to see that whatever character growth he has, it's basically I don't work for the government anymore, so I'm not going to tell Superman what he needs to be.
Yeah.
I'm kind of 100% dad now, and that's kind of how I roll. Right. It's cool to see that he's a different person now that the stresses and the rigors of that job are no longer affecting his judgment.
For a bit, so he puts that uniform right back on and goes right back to the DOD.
Soon as I thought I was out.
He says he hasn't dated in 30 years. My man needs a hobby, so he just went back to work. That's why
he was such a dick.
Yeah,
and so mad all the time.
Yeah, right. So, the cancer storyline. Listen, not to jump straight to the end. I give them kudos. I didn't think they were going to go there. I didn't think they were going to go through with it.
I also thought that because they set up all of Bruno's people have cancer, and then she had cancer, and I was like, oh, they're going to do a thing where they gave her cancer like a villain.
I was wondering. My spider senses were tingling about that as well.
I wasn't even considering that, but that makes sense.
I looked it up, and they said that was supposed to be the subversion of a fridging.
Okay.
And I was like,
interesting.
Yes, you gave her.
We don't kill her, but we significantly affect her life in the long. Okay,
ruined her life. No, I don't.
Right.
It might be worse than fridging. No, you live with it.
Yeah, I mean, that would have been a whole other storyline, because then Bruno would have been like, well, now they're both sick, so you better help me find this cure, because if not...
That's how it felt like it was heading.
Right.
Yeah.
I was surprised that, there just wasn't the miracle cure at the end.
Yes.
I sort of saw what I expected to be a common trope, where it's just Bruno's developing this miracle cure. It's gonna end up where his wife doesn't get it, but there's some for Lois. And
Mr. Freeze McGregor syndrome thing. He's
yes, that's right.
Here, take it for Alfred. Yeah, I remember that.
What you must, brats.
Like the first time they go on that like stakeout or whatever, and she misses the appointment, I'm like, The second time, I'm like, girl, you better get your ass back to that hospital. I was getting mad, and I like that Superman or Clark got on her about it. But I also hate that every time that there was a situation between, like when Lois did something off the rails, Sam would yell at Clark. I'm like, you think that girl, that he could say anything to that woman? She's focused. She's not doing anything. He'd be like, damn it, Clark. She's supposed to be at her appointment. He's like, I know. What the fuck you want me to do?
Why aren't you making sure she's at her appointment? What?
He's like, he literally went to go save people from a flash flood halfway across the world and is walking back in as they're reporting on it on the news, and his wife is nowhere to be found.
I couldn't keep that woman from jumping into like literal villain layers. You think I could get her to a hospital?
He said, "You're Superman. Back in my day, we used to slap our women. What do you
mean? My God,
handle them, keep them in check." Yeah, that's why she divorced you, Sam.
That's why you're alone.
That's why all this happened. 30 years.
Handle that woman.
I did want to talk about that though, because they kind of circle around this idea that at first they circle around the idea that using Kryptonian tech to heal Lois would be unpredictable and thus off the table. But then they kind of shift that conversation to it might help, but if it does, then they have the responsibility to give this cure to the world, and thus with that technology, people could end up.
We are morally if we use this on Lois, we are morally obligated to basically give this to the entire country, thusly moving the human race in a direction they are not prepared for.
Right. So what did that conversation seem odd to you guys? Did that ring true? Where do you feel on this whole Kryptonian save one life? I mean, you kind of keep it quiet.
I mean, I think ethically speaking, that is correct. Like, ethically and technologically speaking, there's something to be said that a society that moves too fast technologically will fall in on itself.
So don't you have a moral obligation not to give it to them?
I think that's the point. That's why they don't give it to Lois.
Oh, that's fucking dumb.
No, he's saying they should give it to Lois, but not give it to anybody else.
Right, that's the point. Morally speaking, we can't get you don't give it to Lois and then nobody else.
Yeah, you can.
Because then we're as bad as those rich pieces of shit.
No, because you're literally know that you can't give it to the human race because of what will happen. Like, you are preventing a extinction by not giving it to them and not telling them. But just saving Lois isn't gonna fucking shift humanity by itself. She's not gonna tell anybody.
Sure. And let's add to that conversation. Well, like, you went back in time for your mother, Flash. Why not mine?
Yeah.
Because it had bad consequences. Like, if he had gone back in time, saved his mother, and nothing changed, who the fuck cares?
I kind of wonder if they put their foot in their mouth with this, because I would have just accepted the whole it's unpredictable and it might kill her anyway.
Yeah, I would accept that it doesn't work. Like, we can't find it just cancer.
Which also goes to the whole, like, Superman, the idea of, like, you can't save everyone kind of stuff.
Yeah,
it plays to that. And doesn't someone straight up tell him that? They're like, you couldn't save your mom, you couldn't save your dad. I can't remember who it was. Maybe one of the kids.
But
someone, like, lays it out.
Loser.
They were like, but you couldn't save this person, you can't save this person. And, so at one point, Nat gives her mom's watch to Lois, and John Henry is not having it. He's like, you better not give that woman your watch. But yeah, she gets it anyway. We deal with, like, some drama over the last will and testament, which was nothing to me because they made me sign a will at 18 when I was in the military. And it was basically just that. It was just a precaution. And I love how when she brings up to Clark, he's like, no, me. I can't hear you. No will and testament. What do you guys think about that? Superman's inability to kind of eternalize that his wife might die one day.
That's perfect.
I get
Actually,
that. Yeah.
I thought it was great. I thought it was great to see him in that situation because you never see Superman that vulnerable or scared or where it was great. And seeing him go to therapy and just being like, nah,
Oh yeah.
uh,
I just told him to let go. Nah, I'm out of here.
Therapy is not for Superman.
And he goes, yeah, it just wasn't for me. I'm out.
George, who took therapy better, the Clark Kent or Ted Lasso?
Oh my God. I don't ever feel like Clark said anything, so I'm gonna have to go with Ted. He just kind of likes to be in the meetings. Nice. But right when he was saying all that letting go stuff, I was like, I've never heard that before. I've never heard like it's always about fight the good fight, fight forever. Fight. You fight till you lose your hair and your skin and your all of it. And to hear somebody kind of, and I gotta believe that's out there. I gotta believe that that's something people deal with. Their mortality and whether or not they want to continue on this road and on this struggle. And once he heard that there was the people who may not want to fight the fight forever, he was over it. And then he didn't want to hear nothing from Lois. I thought that was a little bit crazy, but I love that she just kind of like yells at him. She's like, "You're a Kryptonian. Nothing can happen to you. I get it. You don't get sick, but I do, obviously. And so we need stuff like this." And it's true. It's it's a simple human thing to me. It's like, but yeah, the kids see it.
Did you get flashbacks from this, George?
From signing the will?
No, from the let go moment.
To what?
It gave me Miles Morales.
I can see that.
Because that's like the climax of the game.
Yeah. I can see that. I can totally see that. I also, when they're dealing with the stuff early on, and I thought it was really affecting when they had that episode where she wants to go to the party. And she's like yelling at Clark to go to the party, get dressed, we're going to the party. You better hurry up, we're going to this party. And then he gets over there and she's too weak to move. She's too weak to get up and do anything. And she kind of breaks down about her inability to have the energy and stuff to do all that stuff. So I thought all of that was really, really effective. And again, I what is it? She literally says a line like, "Just because I have cancer doesn't mean I can't be wrong." Which is a great line because she had been bulldozing over everybody about the way she wanted to do things, and it's kind of true. Like, yeah, I get you're sick, but you're in the rock and wrong. You're in the wrong.
Yeah. Being able to, but nobody wants to tell the fucking cancer patient that like you're kind of being an asshole.
Yeah. And the other thing about her storyline I wanted to talk about was the dress. You have a nice, cool little moment where they build up to a past moment where Clark buys her a beautiful dress. She felt like the most beautiful woman in the world, and she's going to be subconscious post this surgery. So she gives away the dress, and there's a whole thing about it, and ultimately she ends up wearing it one more time to fly up with Clark in the air. And then I like that they go to the flashback, and we find out that they screwed in a limo, I think. So that's great. Again, proof that my Superman, which I thought they had to go to another planet to do that, but I think it's just about I'm not even talking.
No, you're thinking about him. You're thinking about him in Wonder Woman, where they move mountains. I don't know if Superman tried to do that with Lois, he'd turn into dust.
I think they had to go somewhere else for her to give birth. They went to Argo or something for her to give birth initially. But I don't think it's to do the deed. I guess he could do the deed anywhere. He just, for that baby to come out, they gotta go.
Gentle with his hips.
Yeah, he just has to have his own, like.
God.
It's like.
Gentle with his hips.
So that reminds me of like just something I end up thinking about, and I know it's not particularly unique to this season, but because there's so much of like that that inner family drama, there are a lot of moments in here where him and Jonathan get into screaming matches, and all I can think of, like, it's interesting interesting to see that Clark's temper raises and he's still holding back like a lot.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because every time his temper does go up and he starts yelling, I'm just like, ooh.
When Jordan shoulder checked him, I was like, "What are you doing? What are you doing, my guy? This is not the way. This is not the way. Your dad is Superman, bro. Like, back up.
You are too dumb to understand how dumb you are."
Let's get into some B plot real quick.
B plots? What?
B plot. Kyle and Mayor Lang officially get divorced. And right before then, Chrissy and Kyle hook up at the Kent's birthday party. Chrissy wants to tell Lana, but Lana finds out when Sophie goes missing and she can't find Kyle. Sarah calls Chrissy a hoe until she finds out that Chrissy eats edibles, so then they become friends. What did you guys think of?
God has never related to this show so much.
I like Chrissy. I thought it was funny that they tried to play her as like some young 22 or 21 or get the fuck out of here.
Yeah,
man.
that was not flying.
That
was not flying. No,
I could not believe they tried that shit. Yeah. Isn't she too young for him? But she looks like she's fucking 30.
They look the same fucking.
They look the same age.
Yeah.
Get the fuck out of here.
Look at Kyle gallivanting around here with this young woman. Where?
Where? I go to Coachella.
Oh, fuck, I hate you.
It also doesn't help that I've had a crush on the actress who plays Lana Lang for like as long as she's been acting.
Lana.
Oh, Emmanuel. Yeah. I've seen Emmanuel's things.
She's very pretty.
I know her from Snow Day.
She's got some film choices.
Yes, she
does. I thought it was really funny they tried to get Chrissy like that, but I thought I actually didn't hate Kyle and Chrissy's storyline.
No,
it was like I said. If it would have been like the Little C plot and without all the other stuff, I would have been fine with it. This was the one that was built to sit in a corner on the side, and then the Mayor Lang thing sits in there. Like, it needed a whole fucking, and now I'm with John, and all this fucking killing me.
I thought the Lana one is the one that was going to bug you.
I was like, fuck, what? But that's what I mean. Like, it was so much of it going on. There was so fucking much of it.
I feel like Kyle fell a little hard, though.
Because I guess if she's supposed to be this young.
Okay, I'm just gonna imagine Aubrey Plaza.
Yeah, I imagine she taught him some things that he didn't know they did now.
Oh, okay.
It was like, oh, and they do the and Lana, they do the thing with the tongue.
Wait, this is allowed?
Oh my god! When he does like the whole dance for her at the dance, I'm like, this is kind of bold, bro. Like your ex-wife's a mayor. Like, what you doing? There's like 12 people in this whole town.
This is my new baby mama.
Yeah, I was like, this is okay. And by the way, like last time there was a big ass party in Smallville, like you embarrassed everybody because everyone found out you cheated on your wife.
And I'm about to do it again. Everybody listen up.
These damn Cushings keep making the parties about them, bro. These Cushings make every party about them. We gotta stop inviting them fucking places.
Oh my god,
it's ridiculous.
See, this is why I hate small town America. Can't go nowhere.
They can't go nowhere, bro. Can't do nothing.
Everybody knows who you are.
Oh, at one point they say something about Lana being born and raised her entire life in Smallville, never leaving. Right?
Loser.
They just say something like that. Later on, because of the consequences of her actions, Sarah openly says, "Ugh, I'm never gonna be able to leave Smallville." And I was like, ugh. She said that to her mom too. I was like, ugh, shit.
Sarah, there's nothing wrong with being a hick.
It's beautiful.
You just gotta wait for the new GQ black man to show up randomly out of the sky from another universe.
A city man had to come to her.
Golly. The only guy named George on this show dies. Mayor George Dean He's killed by onomatopoeia, which sets
that.
Yeah, that's it.
Cast.
No, he didn't. That sets Lana and John on a goose chase looking for clues to his death. John Henry and Sam continue to work for the DOD. Henry was told last season that his doppelganger from Earth, John Henry Irons. I'm like, why Henry? Yeah. Henry was told last season that his doppelganger from this Earth was killed by Bruno Mannheim, so he visits his sister for more info. She explains that Irons sold weapons for Bruno and that they became estranged. Sam tries to get Nat to join the DOD school, but it doesn't work. For the rest of the series, he just gets on Clark's case about Lois being sick and stuff.
That's fucked up.
Thanks, buddy.
Yeah, basically. But yeah, back to John and Lana. After the attack, he sets up a high-tech security system, something Sarah tells her dad about. So Kyle goes to press Lana, but she tells him off. I actually like this scene. I liked where he walks up with the coffee cup. He's like, "Hey, coffee. Hey, who put up all these?" And she's like, "Are you checking up on me and shit?" I like that she.
My kids live here. My kids live here. I need to know who did this. I haven't. I don't want to know.
There's mold in the school.
I just want to know.
There's mold in the school, Lana. Why do you have new cameras, but there's still mold in the school?
Those empty.
No matter what you're told, you have to clean the mold.
Yes, you have to clean the mold.
Those coffee cups were empty as fuck, by the way.
Yo, I saw that too.
Why can't we just put water in there?
No weight, bro. No weight. She's holding it with two fingers.
Oh, did you notice that?
Too. As soon as he walks in, I noticed how they're empty. I was like, fuck. How? Yeah. First of all, it's really, I don't know how it works. I don't know how I noticed, but it looked weightless. It looked empty. I think he could have just filled it with water. It takes 2 seconds.
He got away with it because she's super busy. But in one course of your morning, do you go, "Oh, I'm a firefighter. Let me go get coffee for my mayor ex-wife." Yeah. And then go stop by her office to give it to her.
Kyle, there's a fire. I'm dealing with something. You know? I'm dealing with something right now. Something important.
Fire in my loins.
Oh my gosh, that's from Beppo. That's from Beppo.
Oh no, she got
she got more than that at Coachella. Yeah. Season 4.
I got me this young 20-something. My life has never been better.
You seen them handle the inverse. You seen them handle Morgan Edge. Can Smallville handle the clap? Season 4.
Oh my God.
How is her political career handling this? How she should be destroyed. It's
I don't really feel like she does a lot.
Cheated on you, and he's banging a 20-year-old or whatever the fuck.
Yeah.
Wasn't that the exact campaign? Floozy. Wasn't that the exact campaign the other guy went after?
Yeah, that she doesn't have a good family.
Their family values are fucked up.
If he was still alive, he'd be like, "Look, it's getting worse."
I told you.
I told you.
His ghost is gonna come back and haunt Smallville.
This loose family.
Loose woman.
The little girl. She kisses other girls.
And in the background, you just see Sam nodding. He's like, yeah.
Does anyone even know where the other one is?
They don't raise their child. The television raises their child.
Absolutely ridiculous. So Lana goes to talk to Sarah, says, "Don't tell Dad any of your stuff." She gets a little bit uppity and then says, "You only care about yourself, and that's why Dad slept with another woman." And so Lana slaps her.
Rightfully so.
I was gonna say, who's in the wrong in this moment? Is Lana 100% in the right?
If she is on camera, no. You shouldn't slap your child on camera.
Or on podcast.
You should never slap your child while being recorded in any shape or form. So Lana was wrong.
I can see that.
Lana was wrong because she got caught.
I actually didn't like how they played that. Because it felt like Sarah just got away with being a bitch. It felt like she got slapped, and then it was like she was absolved of everything. I'm in the right now.
It felt weird. I thought they went through something similar in season 2 and then came out the other end better. Was she helping her run for mayor and stuff?
Yeah.
Yes.
But they are mother and daughter. I guess you can say like it happens all the time, but like for the structure of a television show, it's weird to go back to the well of that conflict.
It did feel strange.
But yeah, that was odd for me because in the end, it's like, I'm so sorry, it'll never happen again. And Sarah's like, yeah, you're right. I'm sorry too, I guess.
like, I guess if it's never gonna happen again, I'm just gonna tell you all kinds of wild shit. You promises to never hit me. Oh, this is a wrap.
No, man.
Yeah, not everything's perfect in Smallville because Nat meets a boy named Mateo that she's really into at a party in Metropolis. They have chemistry, and he really helps her feel welcome as she hasn't really been spending time with people her age. And other classes. It's about to be math. It's about to be long division. It's later revealed that Mateo is the son of Bruno Mannheim. Bruno tries to introduce his girlfriend to his parents, and it starts to go well until John finds out who Mateo's dad is. How did you guys feel about this reveal?
That was actually pretty funny.
I thought so too. I was like, oh man, this is one of those hilariously convenient. Like, oh no, the boy's dad is the bad guy.
Yeah. Of all the people in all the places in the biggest city in the fucking side in their side of the goddamn country, they're at a Bruno Mannheim's son. I thought it was funny. I thought it was funny that they set the whole John Henry Irons conflict with the kid up, and it was like a cool dad, regular father's daughter shit, and then they can turn it on. I thought that was gonna tie in more. Like I thought they were doing a thing where Natalie was gonna be like, "I fucking hate you. You ruined it again."
But yeah, I mean, she kind of does a little bit. Like even when he's a cold-blooded like member of his family.
Oh, then he becomes like an evil.
Like, why are you getting in the way of this? And he's like, "What are you talking about? People are dying. Like, you wilding out over here." But yeah, like he's told that he's being too hard on him initially, even before we even find out that he's related to Bruno Mannheim. I kind of called it because he was getting a little bit too heavy-handed about his mom, and I'm like, where are you getting at? Should we know your mom? Like, what are we doing here? But I thought all that was well and good. We're gonna go really quick through the John of it all. So John and Candace is still a thing.
Somewhere off screen.
He still has his truck that Uncle Tal gave him, even though Jordan sold his. I wonder what he did with that money. I'm very interested in finding out what's going on there.
He bought Sarah a bracelet or some stupid
he probably did, bro. And then he gave it to her and she dropped it.
And she threw it. She spit on it and threw it in the toilet.
Oh my god.
I told you, Jordan, don't buy me gifts because I fucking hate you.
No way, doesn't she give him a necklace back?
He went to India. He went to India and got her a special elephant thing, and she was like, "Don't get things for me. You make me disgusting. Like you disgust me. You're a piece of shit.
You're a curly-headed fuck."
Oh my god!
I hate you. I'd rather hang out with your brother.
Not even worse than that. I'd rather hang out with the son of the mayor. This fucking loser. And I'm like, come on. Sarah, for real?
Drunk with this fucking guy I never met over here.
Golly, she's
Nothing
doing
terrible can come with it.
She's doing like the Forrest Gump thing, right? Like she's trying to tell you who she is. She's trying to tell you who she is, Jordan. Like just let it rock. Maybe she'll find you later on in life, but right now, bro, Sarah, just let it go, bro.
Sarah, I can't get over you, Sarah.
So John is doing his best to keep his nose clean after all the XK football stuff. Literally. One day his truck gets stolen. We find out it was stolen by Candace's dad. So John goes and tries to I don't even think he tries to talk to him about it. I think he goes drops off Candace or something, and the dad gets into a conversation with him and hits him. So they tell Lois, they steal the truck back and stuff like that. This brings Lois in to lay down the law, but he pulls a gun on Lois, or at least brandishes a gun in Lois's general direction, and literally says the line, something like, "You think I won't hit a woman?" And I'm like, what What are we doing here, CW? And just straight up, you think I won't hit a woman? I was like, what?
Equal rights for equal lefts.
Emmett
is a piece of lefts.
Equal rights for equal lefts. But I love when Clark finds out about this. And he goes, because this is what you're talking about, GT. Like, everyone's been giving him shit. And he's not been able to unleash on nobody. And then he hears this, and he's like, you know what, man? I'm fucking tired. I don't care anymore.
I'm gonna go embarrass somebody in the middle of town. Give me a fucking second.
In front of their daughter. Give me a second. Let me show you what a real man does. And he shows up. He, you
remember what kind of tries to talk
to him. I want to say 4.
Okay.
He goes up to him. He tries to talk to him a little bit about it, and he, the guy's like doesn't want to talk to him. He doesn't want to go outside, and then he says something like, "I don't want to hit you in front. I don't want to do this in front of your daughter." And he goes, "You think this is the first time she's seen something like this?" And I'm like, "What? Again? What is going on in the household?"
I keep giving you chances, sir.
Right. And then he goes,
"Anything that happens is your fault."
I think he tries to swing on him, and then Clark kung fu's him, and it's basically like, "Don't you ever fuck with my family again." And then he apologizes to Candace, and then Candace just moves in with other relatives.
Yeah. Well, she moves in with them first, which is even more embarrassing for him, because he's like, "I beat you up and took your daughter. Now she's my daughter." What the
fuck? Embarrassing for him, torturous for Jordan. Jordan's like, what is going on?
He said, "You know they stink? Do you know women stink, Mom?"
Yeah.
Excuse.
Fuck. I wanted to say something and now it's gone. Damn it! It was about the father. It's gone.
Yeah, he got slapped up pretty well.
I always love the they've used it a bit, but I always love the character attempts to push Clark and Clark stands still.
Yeah. Because it's never offensive with Clark, but I do like that the Superman actor Tyler Hoechlin, I do like that he has that register. Maybe it's just because he doesn't pull it out often enough. Mm-hmm. But I love that whenever he does crank up the intensity, it's such a huge deal because he's usually in control. That character is, that actor is, etc. So when he gets mad like this, I was totally down for all of it.
I still find it genuinely really frightening.
Yeah,
when he gets really angry,
because you know that he can do, so you know that he's restraining himself.
And I always love the push thing when you try to push Clark and you just bounce.
That's what I said. Yeah, he just stands still.
You move. But so John is invited to join the fire brigade by Kyle, which puts stress on him as he is hazed as a new guy mercilessly. I do like that he walked up to Kyle and was like, "I know you offered me a job, but I have a girlfriend." And he's like, "Well, then don't take the job. Like, what the fuck you think this is? Like, I ain't finna make this easy for you." Like, that's never worked in the history of work.
What is there, homie?
In the history of work, it's never been like, "Oh, you got a girlfriend? All right, bro. I'll put you on part-time." When he's able to help find Sophie, he's given a shirt with his name on it because he was like rusty for a bit, literally. One day he's allowed to go with the crew to an actual fire, but is told to stay back so he doesn't get hurt. Air Jordan shows up, saves a man, and leaves that person with John, making Kyle think John disobeyed his orders so that he could save someone. That was a bit of a scuffle between brothers. What do you guys think about that?
I feel like they don't ever genuinely suit that out.
No, they need a fight, but I guess Jordan would kill him, so they can't.
Probably.
But Jordan was giving him a lot of shit that he shouldn't have. In a weird way. This is the only other person that likes you, Jordan. And he was like, "Oh, come on, you're just fucking making coffees over there." I was like, "Yeah, what the fuck?"
I think they were trying to. They were trying to do a thing where Jordan is the one, because Jonathan was kind of like that to Jordan when Jordan didn't have powers, and Jonathan was the football guy. In the beginning, but I feel like they already went we already did this dynamic switch thing.
Yeah, he tried to overcompensate in season 2 with the XK.
Yeah, Yeah,
he
exactly.
had powers similarly. So now we kind of just have him taking it on the chin, but you didn't think he would have to take it on the chin with people in his own house.
Again, you know, like, for no reason. Like, there's nothing.
I love that logic. Like, yeah, you're like, you know, a super person, and I'm really good at football.
Equal.
Yeah.
Equal value. Equal value.
I guess the whole thing was to set up Kyle finding out about Superman and his family, but
yeah,
it's a convoluted way to get there.
That's exactly what happens. He's put on probation. Kyle tries to connect his findings at the site of the fire and other seemingly supernatural occurrences in the town and deduces that someone in Smallville has powers, but he thinks it's John. So he rides up over there.
Man.
And bro, so I'm entrenched in this episode, right? I'm watching this episode and I can't remember exactly what's going on, but what's going on in the episode at that time is like 10 times bigger than this Kyle moment. So when Kyle drives up, I'm like, fucking Kyle, please, this is not the time. And so when Clark walks up and he's so stern with him, I was like, oh, please, we need to get this man out of here. We got shit to do. What do you guys think of that confrontation between Kyle and Clark, where he's like, I'm not going anywhere because your son is a superpowered person and I want him to admit it?
Can I just say that I thought it was hilarious watching Kyle figure things out 6 months after everyone else and still getting it wrong?
Right.
He's just a fucking loser.
Think about it. He had a 50% chance to be right in that house.
Still fucked it up.
50% chance to be right in the house, and he still got it wrong.
You know what's great about that? What's great for Kyle is that he is lucky that they pulled the bullshit that Lana never knew.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
Because imagine having taken as long as you did to figure it out, and your fucking wife
knew the entire time.
Teenager.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Later on, he's all bent up out of shape because he's been gaslit for the last like 6 months. Every time he keeps mentioning it, people are like, what superpowered person? And they all are in on it.
Who wants to tell you, but you're like a fucking douchebag. Everyone needs to know the truth. Nobody
showing
wants to
up
tell a dick like that.
What was that confrontation going to lead to with Jonathan in front of the house? What was he going to do?
You have to tell me.
Man. Teenagers, get your teenage sons out here right now so I can expose them.
I did like the Clark push, the two finger push back the fuck up.
Whoa, he's like, you need to go now, Kyle. I'm not going anywhere, dude. Now, and then he just says, "Fuck it." You know how not giving a fuck of a level Superman has to be on to just fly as Clark way in front of you.
Yeah,
that's how over he was. He was fully dressed as Clark, and he's like, I don't got fucking time for this. And he just jets off, and I'm like, so good, because
my favorite thing is just knowing that like there's a very good chance that like human eyes can't actually pick up what just happened. So as far as Kyle is concerned, Clark just disappeared.
Yeah, right. Boom.
And there was a large gust of wind.
Right. Lois should have came out and said, "Did you want something to drink, Kyle? Is everything good out there?
Would you like some milk?
You need some milk.
Bones?
Get that man some orange slices." So he lashes out at everyone for lying to him, and then he ends up getting over it. And then he ends up like treating John like with favoritism at his job, which leads Superman to go to his job and be like, no, go back to bullying my son. no special treatment.
No, let me tell you, because he walks around my house talking all this shit. I need him to come here and get...
Your problem is becoming my problem. I need that problem to go away.
Take it down a couple notches. Take this kid down a couple notches.
Put him in a bag, take him out to the middle of the desert, drop him off, and make him find his way home.
What is he, the Undertaker?
I feel like Kyle would be down for that shit. Like,
that's how you haze people in the sorority, isn't it?
Me and my son took 2 bikes out to the desert, and I only gave my son enough gas to get there.
He said it like 8 times in that diner scene with her. I was like, come on, bro. You haven't said it all season. Now you're going mad hard because you remembered that's what you used to call her. Me.
No, it's isn't it Mijita now?
I think he slid a couple of mijitas in there.
Mijita.
I think he slipped a couple of mijitas in there.
Chris, I remember how disappointed Daniel was when he found out he actually was Hispanic.
Yeah,
Eric Valdez.
Chrissy is pregnant, which means my boy Kyle's just been not wearing his super suit.
We haven't stopped.
Can't you see? She is a young, voluptuous woman.
A young 20-something. An irresistible 20-something.
Spitfire. You know?
Give me the gummies.
Oh my God, why?
And then Kyle proposes. This is all like in the series of like 3 months or something. Like, this is all like very close together. And then he proposes. And I'm like, this is all weird. And
you know what,
again,
though?
What's up?
You know what, though? They were gonna set up to do a whole other season of Kyle and Chrissy. Oh no, we're too soon. Everything's happening too soon, and now they can't. So we won.
Yeah, we might be in a better place now. Yeah, we might. You're right. I actually didn't think about that. Watering down that so we could deal with it longer. Not down with that at all. Let's get to the true villain of all this. Jordan and Sarah try being friends, but it's hard because Jordan still loves Sarah, and Sarah seems completely over Jordan. I'm starting to wonder how superficial that relationship was in the very beginning. It could have just been a relationship of convenience, you know? It almost seems like every time he admits that he's into her, she's less into him. He's got to play it cooler, like he doesn't care or something.
Nobody likes a simp. She's supposed to be mad at him, right? Because he wants to be famous, and she had to.
But he only wants to be famous because he wants attention because she won't give him any. Yeah, I'm pretty sure if she gave him attention, he wouldn't mind. He doesn't care about it, the pictures and all that. He doesn't have no one to talk to. He's socially awkward. So this avatar for him helps a lot, but yeah, she's not helping at all. And it seems like every
this me senpai.
I'm glad you're fired. Get out of here.
It causes Jordan to get jealous when she's talking to other people or yearn for her when his brother is making out with Candace. Also, Jordan has been secretly playing superhero behind Clark's back, but his father has been training him in the fortress so he can hone his skills. The thing is, Clark never seems to think Jordan is ready to make his own mistakes. In one instance, Jordan tries to stop a crane from falling, but he only makes it worse. That's another thing. Like, I'm like, who am I supposed to be with on this? Because Superman's right. Like, he made that worse. But Jordan's right. He has to make his own mistakes as well. I mean, as a father, Yogi, where do you sit on all this?
It is a bit of both. It's hard to deal with because he's strong. He's going to be stronger than Superman, is what they're implying. So Superman's struggling to deal with that too. It's like I can't even control him as a teenager, and now he's going to be stronger than me. What the fuck? Hit him with another laser. Let's see how he handles that.
I did like that they kind of sandwiched this in between his inability to deal with Lois's mortality, because then it kind of felt like an overall method of over control. Because he can't control, like there's certain things he can't control, but he can control, whether or not Jordan can be safe, kind of, because he can keep him at home. Ultimately, that doesn't help at all. But
and the other kid's always whining to, well, Dad left us to do Superman stuff, so that means we can abandon him whenever the fuck we want.
Oh, okay, you're Dad. What do you think about that storyline?
Piece of shit. You whiny fucking scum. And they're playing it like he has something to be right about. No, you fucking don't. Dad's always leaving us for Superman stuff. No, you fuck. I'm leaving you to save me. You know what? Fine. Everybody in China can die today. Jonathan wants to play basketball. Here's a fucking second.
He wants to play Injustice.
And beat me up.
I forgot he played him in Injustice.
Yeah.
He ends up becoming more and more defiant. Jordan does. Clark ODs on him in the fortress, and even then, Jordan manages to pass some tests before he gets like lasered. Jordan accuses him of wanting to be the only hero. And then Jordan later rescues his dad when Superman steps into one of Mannheim's traps and he's shot with a kryptonite gun, and we find out he's not affected in the same way as his dad. I think that you were alluding to that, Yogi, that he might be more powerful.
In the training room, before he got shot with the kryptonite, they were implying that he was developing his powers at a much faster rate than his father did. That's why he's looking at him like, what the fuck is this halfling child?
Was that before or after they yelled at their AI grandmother for 20 minutes for not giving them the cure for cancer?
That had to be before, I think.
Laura's like, what's going on here? This is what y'all call me here for this? Like, what's going on here? So like you were saying, they were supposed to hang out with their father, and then they just kind of bailed on him to go to a party. And he's like, that was like cringe, bro. Why did he walk up on that conversation like that and just start asking questions? Like, he just walked up on Junior and Sarah talking and having drinks and just asking questions in the middle of a story. Super awkward. So then they get into a conversation where they basically both admit that they wish they never fell in love with one another.
I'm glad Jordan says something like that, although I don't believe it after all this time.
A statement like that feels like something you say, like he's saying just realizing it. But her coming back with it is just another slap in his face, right? Like, it's just another, like, son of a bitch. I thought I was stepping on my own 2 toes here, and now, knocked out again. So things get weird with Sarah. The police bust the party. Sarah and George Jr. crash her car while trying to escape, but Jordan rescues them. Kyle arrives, and George Jr. tells him that he saw someone with powers, while Sarah is charged with a DUI. This is where you're talking about where Jordan basically yells at his dad that because his dad first he confesses to his dad. He's like, I think somebody saw me. And then Clark's trying to talk him through it, smells some alcohol on his breath, gets on him for lying about the party, and Jordan flips out and says, you're just mad that no one wants to hang out with you. Kind of.
Yeah, that sounds like a child thing, but that's less that at least is like reactive to what's happening right now. I feel like just the act of going to the party and not hanging out in the first place was worse. That was because they already had it planned, and then he spent money on the tickets. So I wouldn't have that. Would never have happened in my house.
And he was taking him to a wrestling event, right?
Yeah, he bought it. He is and it's implied that he was already a fan, so confirmed.
He was excited about it.
He had a shirt. He knew who people were. They've been watching
Clark the Mark. Kids. Check that out. Who would have thought?
Yeah. I can't imagine I would slap the shit out of you. I spent money, and who do you think you're talking to anyway? And what makes you think you have agency?
You came back came back drunk, and you're gonna out the whole family.
Well, I mean, even sober, even if you didn't do anything wrong, even if you were perfect, you don't have no fucking agency like that. Sorry, Dad, I am going to abandon you, even though we planned this. You paid for you're 16, right? You pay bills here? No, I didn't think so. You can come to this thing we paid for and planned, or you can
even pay for the fucking truck.
Or you can stay home. Is your 2 options? But you damn sure ain't just walking out of here like that. I can't believe that.
As a dad, what are you doing with that shoulder shove moment?
You have to shut. You see, Superman. If he does that to Jordan, right? They just kind of blow the house up, right? So their situation's a little different. No, you have to respond with equal and or greater.
You must reestablish dominance.
You can't, if you don't respond to that, there's just a natural human thing that happens where they won't respect you. They just won't. You can't just let it. There's no book or anything in the world that's gonna fix that. You have to react immediately.
And it won't end there. It'll just continue to push. Push.
Well, I mean, it depends on how it's handled, right? Because you.
I mean, if you don't put it in check.
Yeah, because you can put it in check right there. And it's like a quick reminder never to do that again.
I did think he was good.
I done erred.
I did think he was pretty good in being stern about like, don't you ever. I was like, like lesson.
He had to give him. No, he had to do the laser eyes. If he didn't,
oh my god,
I would have done the laser eye. You get lasers, don't you ever?
you laser right over their shoulder. Don't you ever see that? Don't you ever? Oh,
John needs the clear understanding that death is a possibility.
I don't ever want you to think it's off the table. I just want you to understand. You can never know for sure. Because then someday you might decide, well, I'll live. And I don't want you to think that.
You have that choice. You have that choice. It's not in your hands. Your fate is not in your hands. I'm ready to say something at least sympathetic about Sarah. As somebody who was a youth in my
John, you might want to leave the room.
As someone who was a youth in my day, I do remember a period in which everything felt like I was just doing everything wrong. Like I was just hanging with the wrong people, doing the wrong stuff. And when she says, like, I think I'm just fucking up again, like I bought that. That felt real. It felt like she was doing a lot of dumb stuff. She got caught drinking in the back of the car with Junior, and her mother's like, I guess didn't say anything about it then, so she must have felt real shitty when Junior and her are caught in the drunk driving incident. Later on, it's the stuff with her dad. It's the stuff with Sophie. Like she loses Sophie. She tells her dad shit about John, which gets her slapped. She says the shit to her mom. Initially, she can't seem to get anything done right, and sometimes when you're in that, it is hard to see that light at the end of the tunnel because you just keep digging down. I don't know how a job as a waitress is necessarily supposed to help her, but I believe it's to find purpose, or at least something that she's responsible or reliable for.
This is probably wrong to say, but I'm not. I feel like
you feel it in your heart.
Sarah, I feel like they're going through too much effort to flesh out Sarah. There's no reason in the fucking world why. Like, where do we go on a show called Superman and Lois? What is the end point for Sarah Cush? Is she going to become a fucking supervillain? Because if not,
I think the answer to that question was, at least in the beginning, the potential for spin-off material.
Fuck you. Could you imagine?
Meet the Langs.
Get the fuck out of here.
John is not watching Superboy and Sarah, clearly.
But Superboy and Sarah? No, because they're going through so much effort to separate her. Like, it's like all there is conflict with them forever. It only like, what the fuck I'm supposed to believe? They're just gonna have one moment, one season where they decide, never mind, let's get together anyway. No, it kind of feels like.
I mean,
it's
isn't
bullshit.
there an entire show where? No, I say it the wrong way. Isn't the entire like through line for Family Matters that Laura is just absolutely disgusted with the idea of this Urkel fellow?
Basically. Yeah, and then she hates him so much that she would only get with an alternate version of him. Like, she doesn't love him for who he is. He simps after her forever and ever, loses out on the girl that does love him for who he is, and then they end up together in the end, inexplicable twist in the end.
Yeah, because by then she had dated a bunch of other guys. None of that stuff worked out, and then she remembered her neighbor.
He didn't even work out with other Steve.
Yeah,
he was like, whatever. I'll get with you because I've been.
I need someone a little bit more subservient than you, Mr. Stefan.
No, I hate this. Actually, I feel like if I feel like it stunts Jordan's character to keep on dealing with this Sarah shit for 3 seasons. He's done nothing. He's just been, I got powers, I train with my dad, and I argue with Sarah for fucking ever. I
also argue with a hologram.
That's not Superboy. What, you went through all the trouble of doing this Superboy twins thing, and you don't do a fucking thing with it.
It's even more exhausting when you realize that like this started all the way in like the pilot, right? Like they meet at that fire thing, and it's where love at first sight, and they've been doing that basically for 36 episodes or 39 episodes. I'm getting Skylar White vibes in the sense of like, you're clearly writing this character for me to get upset, and then kind of in the story you almost don't want me to be. So I'm confused at how I'm supposed to feel here, because the things I'm rooting for this family. You've made it a great point to show me that this family is the one I'm supposed to be rooting for. They're the main characters. They're the ones I'm supposed to care about. Even when they do wrong.
Wholesome.
Yeah, they're wholesome. They're apple pie. And so when anyone, unless they've done something out and out wrong, when anyone hurts them physically or emotionally, they automatically become an antagonist in my book. And I personally don't think Jordan did anything wrong. It's really rough to wrestle with those feelings, and I feel like a lot of times Sarah may have led him on. I'm not saying that excuses anything that happens later on, but I'm just it's got to be rough, because I was under the impression that everything was copacetic with those two, that they were finding their footing again and kind of going in a way. But obviously Jordan is still in love, and you can't be friends with somebody still in love, and not to that point. I love that she tries to call him out on it, and he's like, come on, are you being any better at a friend than I am? Like, none of us are good at this shit. So
you know what the tragedy of a lot of these side plots are? Is that because of the damn budget cuts, most of them aren't coming back.
No, that's great. These are great. These are great endings, though. Like, okay, and then Kyle moved on.
Some of them are not.
Had a baby, and then Jordan decided.
No, I think Kyle's coming back.
No, stop. And then decided.
I'm pretty sure Kyle's in the next season.
No, I don't want it. No,
it's all about Kyle. It's a Kyle episode.
We don't.
He's like, I'm not acknowledging that shit.
Kyle episode, Jesus Christ!
But it's got to be like the Lucky episode. Like he's so like slow that it's just pictograms and stuff. Like that.
Chrissy, you know I don't know how to read these things, right? That's a grocery list.
Yeah, him trying to pick out like 2 different kinds of peanut butter, like for half an hour. He's like, which one? But I think Sarah's allergic to one of these. Can't remember which one.
What's the other kid's name? Sally.
Something. What's my other daughter's name? Cecily? Something like that. Watch Kyle name this kid Sarah. Sophie. He's gonna name the kid with Beppo Sophie. He's like, I always liked that name. I always wanted to name a kid Sophie.
His
like, don't you have a kid named Sophie?
We call him Monkey. He looks like a monkey.
Oh,
we don't know what.
The Beppo. It's the Beppo curse. Yeah, they gotta figure out all that stuff. Like I said, I feel like they are trying to push us in a direction with that stuff, and I'm not 100% sure how I'm supposed to feel about it.
By the way, I only got that recently, John.
What's that?
The monkey thing.
Oh, the Beppo.
Oh, Chrissy Beppo. I can't stop laughing at it because I
didn't know about the monkey.
I don't know if they told her. I feel like they didn't tell her. Like
the actor?
Oh, the actress.
When we were casting Beppos, we were looking for monkey shaped heads
for a hot 19-year-old monkey.
So like I only found out about Beppo because somebody was explaining Comet the horse in the Supergirl book.
Yeah. Okay. Was he in the horse? What about Streaky?
No, Streaky's not in the book.
Ah, boo.
Crypto and Comet are.
No Beppo?
No Beppo.
No.
We need to bring them all back. I thought that, I always suspect that they just didn't tell her, and because that's really mean.
There there was something still left on my radar that I just came back up. I applaud you, Yogi, for your ability to kind of suss out possible bad storylines. Because we've seen enough bad shows to know that some of these roads are taken. There was an instance, there was a moment, there was a sliver of a chance that I thought that they were gonna do something with Sarah and Jonathan, and I was like,
"Oh my god,
holy! They better not." They bet.
Oh, that's right, because they were hanging out for a little bit. They weren't.
Yeah, and he even says it to Jordan. I was hanging out with Sarah or whatever, and then he's like, "Oh, I'm gonna hang out with her harder or whatever the hell." Like he makes plans with her the next day or whatever.
Means? What?
But I'm more of their attempt to fucking flesh out Sarah as this character they can use independent of Jordan. But it's like, kill me with that shit. She exists as a character to serve Jordan's development. I'm sorry if that bothers you as a fucking person. That's just who she is, a character.
We already have Mayor Lang.
I just I'm now just imagining Sarah Cushing as like the Zendaya character from that Challengers movie.
Jesus
Christ. Oh yeah,
with these two men just opining over her.
I hate.
That's what I'm saying. Like, yeah, I'm totally glad they didn't go that route, but a worse show would have. The Jordan stuff kind of ends with him hyping up whatever soup saved Sarah, and later on he helps his dad with a tornado and goes viral for it, something that he doesn't mind at all. So we're led to believe that he's been bitten by the fame bug, and we'll see how that.
Good. I wish it would just end. I wish it would have no conflict. I wish it would just
groupies, right? Just groupies.
It's just like, hey. Jordan. and then everything turned out awesome. And then his life was great, and he never had a panic attack again. And Sarah, well, we never fucking saw her again.
She goes back to her home planet. she went back to her home planet.
Her and Natalie got together, I guess. I don't fucking know. Put him on to the side.
Yeah, I honestly, like, I'm glad they even gave Nat something to do, because I felt like she was kind of floundering around for a little bit there too.
I do love that scene of him taking all the photos, and you just like, you've got General Lane's eyes on him, and then Mark's eyes on him. And he is just so fucking oblivious.
Yeah, he's not paying attention at all.
Like, do you not feel the power on you right now?
It felt like we were looking for something for Natalie. Like, this is what we tried. We gave you a thing, tied you into the Mannheims, made it work.
I guess, and like, and her father gets to,
and you get a girlfriend.
The mayor. But by the time
better off now without all these extra characters, I really feel like after watching this, I feel like they were spinning their wheels on what to do with some of them. They were just
I think so as well.
Stick you in here, and since you're here, your father will do this. Oh, there we go. Everyone has a place now.
it was definitely at the moment where Lana and John Henry Irons, started making out. That's when I said what I said about like Superman and Lois, to show where everyone gets some but Jordan. Like literally, side characters. Everyone's hooking up. Everybody's getting some, except for Jordan. Except for my man Jordan.
Him and his grandpa.
There are several episodes of Lois talking about how important sex is to their relationship.
I loved it.
Clark and I have sex 72 times a day. He's a Kryptonian.
I loved it. They remember when right before the whole doomsday of it all happened, they were gonna take them to their sex place, their sex palace or whatever. And they're like, "Oh, how'd you find out about that?" And they're like, yeah, Uncle Taro told us about it." Oh, ridiculous. Yeah, I love that. I love that they go, like, she's like, "I want to bang right now. Let's go bang." And he's like, "Let's go bang." And they go and they bang.
Clark.
And they go and they bang. Like, it's so, I was gonna say so cool. I don't know what. It's just like real.
It's so
I love that
like, hey,
honest
I'm
about
ready.
it.
Like, what? Oh, bet. Okay,
like, right
well, I ain't doing nothing. Shit.
Let's go. I was like, I love these two. Let's get back to the A plot and finish this up. Superman defeats another superpowered henchman of Mannheim's named Deadline. By the way, that fight was kind of terrifying. That was like really, really cool. Like the whole phasing, and Superman couldn't punch him, couldn't ice breath him, couldn't laser him or none of that stuff, and he was just getting shanked by that kryptonite knife. I was like, damn,
that was pretty ugly.
Yeah, I was like, we might just lose. I'm like, who the hell is this man? Then I looked him up and I was like, he doesn't look great in comics.
Well.
COD level?
Yeah. Probably E level. But not be, first of all, his name is Deadline, and every time I think of Deadline, I think of like a newspaper. So he seems like a fucking Daily Planet villain or something like that. I've come for you, Clark. I am the Deadline.
Isn't that the new NXT thing?
Yeah.
Yeah. Iron Survivor.
Deadline.
Deadline. But Deadline manages to leak DOD locations to his boss, Bruno. They raid a few and get their hands on Bizarro's corpse and use his body to try to synthesize a cure for Mannheim's wife, Pia, who we find out is dying from cancer and is ano mano.
God damn it!
Were you guys excited, rolled your eyes at the return of Bizarro Superman?
I thought it was interesting. I was like, oh, he's still there. Oh no, a thing got him.
I didn't hate the Bizarro stuff in the last season. I thought the Alley stuff was less interesting than the world they built around her.
Yeah,
I like seeing him again. You know what's kind of this show does this thing I hate because I feel like it could stand on its own 2 feet so well that it doesn't have to keep doing these. Look at what they did in the Zack Snyder Superman. I can do it better with more hope. We this time it was taking the dead. It was Doomsday. It was doing the It was Doomsday.
Oh, it's like taking the tornado, Superman,
taking the dead Superman, and then bringing the fucking thing back to life and all that shit, and the tornado, I really hate that. It sucks. It's so derivative.
Yeah. Yeah, it wasn't nuts. I mean, they didn't need it. But yeah, I dug seeing Bizarro again, and I guess it's been a long time, and like he's kind of a zombie. He's like not very vocal, and at one point he's eating rats, and then eventually he does become Doomsday. But like for a second, I started to remember like he was a regular Superman at one point. Like he was just a regular man. He had a regular ass family. He saved the world. He was a regular dude. And then he just basically deteriorated. And when you find out his actual, like where this leaves him, it's incredibly tragic. If you just think about him as some kind of weird zombie Superman that they pump full of drugs and he becomes a monster, But I was like, that was a regular dude at one point. Like that was a regular, actual, factual dude. It's not just a Earth 3 counterpart.
It made sense where he came
evil. From. Yeah, immediately evil. Like this was a person. So we find out that Pia and Bruno have been together since Bruno helped take over Suicide Slums and later the Greater Metropolis by framing Lex Luthor for the death of their mob boss Moxie. We mentioned the dinner between Mateo's family and Nat. Well, John shows up in his steel suit to try to save his daughter, but is ultimately taken down by Bruno and his wife. Superman shows up to help, but in the conflict, Pia overexerts herself and nearly dies, but Superman takes her to the hospital in the DOD. They start to use Pia as a bargaining chip. Like you can come see your wife, we'll release her to you if you get back into custody, but Bruno won't budge. In fact, he manages to get Mateo in for a visit and he pricks her with an unstable version of the cure that just makes her worse over time. She manages to escape, but ultimately dies in the street, having caused massive damage to the city by not being able to control her powers. Superman takes her into the air so that she can quote unquote let go, call back to the conversations we were having before about, this disease and the toll that it takes on people. I thought she wasn't going to be a body to bring back when he flew her up there.
I thought all of her went in that blast.
I was like, and it should start raining. It should start raining. Like that should have been it. But no, he brings the body back. And Bruno agrees to cooperate with the DOD in exchange for Mateo's charges being dropped. Because he was framed for a crime he didn't commit, Lex Luthor is released from prison and heads over to the Camp Farm and demands Lois Lane retire as a writer or reap what she sows as revenge for locking him up for years. You guys want to talk about Michael Cutlitz as Lex Luthor? I will start by saying that I thought this was a little fisky for my taste.
Interesting. Fisky.
He's not the first one to do it, right? Wilson Fisk is not the first mob boss to ever be depicted as like this cold, calculating, murderous. I've never seen Lex as murderous. Not just like flippantly or not like disrespectfully. Always felt like a gain or for some sort of, and I guess he's in prison, so there's stuff to gain there. But yeah, he just felt a little goonish is the word, thuggish. Like more goonish or thuggish. Now, in this vast world of alternate realities and infinite possibilities, I don't have a humongous problem with it. It's just a different color for that character.
Especially maybe when adjacently we kind of just did the John Quire.
Right. And in lesser ways like Maxwell Lord was kind of like a proto Lex in Superman.
Their attempts
Supergirl
to do the anti Jesse Eisenberg, they pushed too far, and this motherfucker is on the other side of the spectrum, and now they both don't feel like Lex. I didn't get Lex from this guy.
We gotta find it in the middle.
I didn't feel Lex. Like I didn't feel Lex to me. They're telling me it's Lex. His name is Lex. They keep referring to him as Lex, but I'm not getting it. It just didn't connect. I don't know that. I'll cope and come up with a backstory for him like they did with Jesse Eisenberg. He's Lex Jr. He's not right. He's not the real Lex.
Remember when everyone thought Eisenberg was Arcade for a little bit? They're like, no, he's obviously Arcade. It's not Lex, it's Arcade.
He's the Riddler.
Oh yeah, he's the Riddler. GT, what do you think about this Lex? You've seen many a Lex in many a lexicon. What do you think about this Lex Luthor?
I found his choices of music inspiring.
I dig it.
I saw a Tool cassette in there, and that was interesting. Yeah, it's weird. Even when I acclimated to bearded John Quire Lex, this one is like a biker.
Yeah. Does he have tats?
I don't think we've been exposed to any.
I feel like he would have
tats. Do too.
Like false god on his chest or something like that.
Oh god damn it.
Lex Express.
Yeah. I'm a little with John here. Like, I'm seeing a character they're calling Lex Luthor, but I'm not seeing anything I recognize. So I'm just like, okay, this is just something other.
Yeah.
I guess it's not as bad, obviously, as the other in any other sense. With the Jesse Eisenbergs and the whatever the Gene Hackman one was.
Do you think there's a possibility they can clean him up, put him in a suit, do more business stuff in season 4 and win you over?
Maybe it's clear that Lex is like a guy with influence and power already. So there's definitely I think there's definitely got to be that side of him, because what else grants that sort of influence and power other than old money, right?
Is he set to come back?
Yes.
I'm not sure.
I think he is.
Now you're talking about like this whole. I'm trying to play devil's advocate with him, and now I just realized that I don't know if the Lex I know would have been able to be set up by Bruno Mannheim.
That's what I'm saying. This Lex is dumb. This Lex is dumb. What the fuck is this? What is this? What is this brute dumb Lex? He even kind of looks it. I don't know.
Yeah. I was looking up his attributes in like one of those like fan Wikipedias, and it was like peak of human physical condition, and it says he regularly did push-ups in his cell every day.
Yeah,
and when he got released, he walked all the way from the prison to Kent's farm.
Yeah, that was wild.
I would have been bored. I would have been bored as hell.
I've been waiting for you for 17 years. You robbed me of a fate where I become smart and have multiple clashes with Superman.
Do you think you could call me a cab? I left my wallet in the prison.
Lois, what is Uber?
and the kids are upstairs going, why is every other day some random guy showing up to our front of our house to yell at our parents?
Why didn't Jordan do something? No. Get that man off of your lawn.
Yeah, he should have flew right through him. Does he know? He doesn't know that that's Superman, does he?
No. Okay. I didn't think so.
Because he kind of treated Clark like Lois's simp. He didn't treat him like a man he respected.
I don't think he knows that's Superman.
That was interesting. He leaves. He ends up finding Bizarro Superman, who escaped when Pia destroyed Mannheim's estate by mistake. Luthor then has Judge Reagan killed and starts to target people who locked him up in the first place. Sam meets up with a woman he met online. Her name is Gretchen. She's a blonde. He's finally dipping his toes back in there, and as soon as he lets his guard down, he gets abducted by Lex Luthor. Again, man, the blood drained from one area to another, and that's all I could blame for Mr. Lane's OPSEC. He's always talking about people like, pay attention. Nah, he got power boners. They end up having like this comet celebration where
the meteor shower. They're watching a meteor shower.
Stuff that happens in a small town where everyone goes and watches the fucking stars or something. And that's when Kyle and Christy get engaged. And then Luthor, when he finds Bizarro, he tries to kill him, but every time he kills him, he comes back. And once he realizes that, he basically repeatedly kills him and transforms him into a monster. This is obviously, when you look at him, you see Doomsday. I don't think the word is ever explicitly said. I think he's been identified off screen as Doomsday. But it's Doomsday. It's basically Doomsday. With it being done so closely, is this a eye roll moment? Is this a justification or validation that this could be done well? Where do you guys sit on just another kind of iteration of this? And are you okay with a Doomsday versus Superman story that doesn't end with Superman dying?
I am, because I've already been exposed to it.
Okay.
I think there's been 2 animated versions of this where Superman just wins.
Yeah. They don't want to go through the whole. They don't want to go through the whole.
There's also 2 animated versions of this where he loses.
Sure, but I'm speaking to the point that I'm exposed to it already, and like it's not anything new to me. So like, I could totally see him, winning the Doomsday fight and just coming out of it a little perturbed. I can totally see them doing the Solar Flare thing.
Okay.
Where
just incredibly weakened, but
where like he's gonna have a few human days.
Yeah, budget days we call them on the Flash. Every whoops, lost my powers.
We're doing an episode where we act like James Bond. No, man.
Well, no, those are just fun.
Fuck you, those are cheap.
We're talking about the episode where Barry lost his speed again.
Do.
It's the same thing. I'm thinking.
I gotta get my speed. Yeah, I gotta get my speed. Well, thoughts on Doomsday? Good, bad, and different.
Like, he looked weak. He looked all right. He was another bald Doomsday. I was like, oh, okay. But I just said earlier too. I kind of hate when they do that shit. Like, it was a good fight. It was a great fucking fight. They beat the shit out of each other. It was cool. It looked like he died, and then he didn't. And now they were going back.
What'd you think about the football spike? What'd you think about the?
That was hilarious.
I was like, damn, that's a bit gruesome for a Superman fight.
And I was like, he didn't seem to have an issue with doing that. Like, I thought you were mad at John for killing the other dude.
Not only that, but remember he like does that and then like flies down to the city.
He's like,
hey, he doesn't do that and then pick the body back up and lay it into a grave or something like that. He leaves it on the tower. He's like, I'll get that later. Open and shut case, guys. We've handled the monster.
No, I guess
don't look up there.
They were trying to imply that he understood the threat because he's looking back at everyone like, don't get involved. This is real shit.
Right. Yeah.
When they did the cliffhanger, I knew that meant that he wasn't going to die because otherwise
you could just have him die in the finale.
Otherwise the cliffhanger would be him dying. So So other than that, I just thought overall I was like, oh, this is what we're doing. Lex uses the dead body to bring back.
That sounds so exciting.
I remember this. I was here before.
I almost think it was a good thing that I was spoiled for this. I don't know how I would have reacted completely not knowing. Honestly, I don't know. Like everything tells me I would have been upset, but I don't have that because it would just feel like late in the game, like late in the series, and like kind of just like we get there and it's him. It's like the vagueness that we kind of know him, so we gave it a pass because we kind of know the story. They can skip over like huge chunks of it. It's funny, John, that you mentioned a bald Doomsday. I like legitimately had a thought today at lunch when I was putting my notes together where I'm like, are we ever going to get one with hair? Like, can we? And I was like, the only answer to that is we totally can. He just has to come from Krypton, which we haven't had that yet. We haven't had him come from Krypton yet. And thus no hair. But I want a hairy Doomsday.
I don't think we can do it now. I think it's over. I don't think you get a Doomsday for like 20 years.
No braids, bro. We're not gonna get the Injustice braided.
Did you see? Again, I didn't want to go on a tangent, but after all these fucking years, all these people people finally starting to put to rest their dreams of this Snyder stuff. And then the Netflix guy comes and says, we'd love to have that. We'd love to have more Zack Snyder DC stuff. But damn it. God damn it. You pour gasoline in the fire. No.
The fire rises. For you. So, Luthor unleashes this creation on Superman, who after a fierce battle impales on a spike. When he revives, he's
Batman v Superman.
He revives, he becomes too powerful and renders Clark unconscious. He carries him to space, remembering his family. Clark hurls the monster onto the surface of the moon, and they are last seen hurling at each other with deadly intent. Pretty cool little moment. I kind of like this show gets away with having a stinger like Arrow, like not needing a long sort of, my name is Superman and I was born, yada, yada, yada. Like, I like that they just have that, the open and close that they do.
That did end up being like, that does end up being like the signature for all of them, right?
The longer stuff?
Because they stopped doing the open.
Yeah.
And it all just becomes like the logo flash. Like,
you said it sucks, Yogi?
No, I missed those because
the longer stuff.
Yeah, because it's the first page of a comic book. It
My
always
name
has
is
that first box.
Yeah.
I
like that.
I like that. Like, we had like 5 openers in a row that were depressing as hell. So the opening was like piano, like it's just like a somber ass, like, hey guys, it's gonna be a sad one today. And then the logo comes in and it plays the theme of piano. And I'm like, yeah, I guess it is. As we wrap this up, what do you guys want to see in season 4? This is going to be the last season of this show. Considerable budget cuts. In a world in which you can throw a dart and get anything you wanted in this Superman show, what do you want in season 4? I'll go ahead and, put my tinfoil hat on. I'd like to see Kara. I'd like to see Kara again. powered or not. I don't know how this works in the multiverse, but I'd like to see Melissa Benoist in that outfit again, alongside her cousin. Maybe even then get a dog. Get Crypto. Either one. Either Supergirl or Crypto. That's what I want for season 4. Maybe if Jordan has a dog, he can,
you might have to wait for the movies for that one.
Yeah.
I'd like to see Superboy suited.
You don't like the bomber goggles?
No, I
black leather.
I'm so past pseudo homemade bullshit.
Right.
Your father is Superman. He can make outfits in his fortress. Just go get one.
Yeah.
We don't need.
Ask Uncle Tao. He's willing to seemingly do fucking anything.
Yeah,
Tao's gonna come back from vacation and be like, "What the fuck happened here?"
He's gonna come back with a square Earth girl.
Is it possible to 3D print that material?
Oh yes. Yeah, right.
Yes, it is.
You got anything on the bucket list for season 4, GT?
Not completely. I actually like. That's tougher for me because I have to remind myself like who's not coming back. So what's like what in this pot is left to finish off.
Can Jordan get the suit at the end of this? What's an ending to this series look like?
I don't know.
And they all look into the unknown together as a family.
Realizing they had to sacrifice a body, they throw
oh my god
Sarah into the chasm, and thus fulfilling the prophecy of 100 years of peace.
No, Sarah has to go up and fix the sun.
We find out that Sophie's Kryptonian this entire time, and she comes and she saves the day.
Play zombie cat with me.
No, woman. Studying for school.
Is that a real game?
How did you get lost looking for food? What's wrong with you? Okay. The final question I have before I wrap this up is,
get it?
What if anything, do you think James Gunn and co should take from this portrayal of Superman? Is there anything positive? Is there anything positive that they can see and move forward with? I obviously, because I'm in the bag for it, I say the Lois Lane Clark dynamic. I think they need to get that right. I didn't even necessarily love the Amy Adams of it all. I'm sticking this chemistry here, the back and forth, the arguments, all of it. I love this, stand this couple. So if anything, I want to see something like that replicated on the big screen.
I don't know if they can do this dynamic, because this is the dynamic that comes with being together for 20 years.
Are we going through the whole like he doesn't know I'm Superman thing again? Like we're doing that again?
It seems like it. It seems like he said they weren't doing an origin story, but they were doing early Superman. He's young. He's working in Metropolis. I imagine they will try to do the Lois figures out he's Clark thing in a better in a better way than Amy Adams figured it out in 7 minutes, or however long. And I was never a hater of that. They were like, she's a Pulitzer Prize winning journalist. She used her journalism skills. She figured it out.
Yeah, let's just get there. Right.
Skills.
I would like to see. I would just like to see this Superman, this hopeful, optimistic Superman. But that seems to be the goal anyway. So what's the point of it?
At least we're showing it can be done, right? At least,
for sure.
Because I think there was a bunch of detractors wondering about whether or not any of this was old hat or too old fashioned.
Those people need to be listened to. I feel like they don't have opinions worth listening to. I'm sorry. Like, there's no room for good.
I dig it. Do you guys have anything else for Superman and Lois season 3?
No, actually, nothing in particular.
I do though.
Oh, let's hear it.
I think it's really funny with the place that they put themselves, because the cliffhanger for season 3 is this doomsday thing, but we know that they have a smaller budget next season. So I imagine that it's going to just end in like the first fucking 20 minutes of season 4.
Yeah.
The whole doomsday thing is going to be done and over with.
I mean, I could totally, because of this show, I could totally see it opening up and being like, it's been 3 months since that fight and no one's seen Clark.
Mm-hmm.
Damn
you know?
it.
I could totally see them be like, we don't know. And
what came to my mind is that like the ensuing battle and the flight path back to the planet, assuming that Superman attempts to win via some sort of like seismic toss.
Yeah. Oh yeah, right.
From the moon back to the planet. Yeah, exactly. The ensuing rocks that follow them in the path back to the planet basically act like as meteors.
And they just
destroy bits of fucking Metropolis and Smallville, and now like this is why you don't see your friends no more.
It's a shorter season, right?
I believe it is.
No. Well, the next season, I'm not sure.
Yeah. I remember them saying
3 have been 13. I could see that. How much of it being canceled is them just not wanting to fund the Arrowverse anymore? How much is it because we're getting a new Superman, or is that like a chicken and an egg?
Go ahead.
Yeah, I was gonna say you're right. It's because the Arrowverse is dead. The CW is just moving away, and they don't really have it. It's a mix of both though, because they're not gonna put effort into moving this somewhere when they have a new Superman coming.
Right.
CW was fine. I'm sure they would have let this exist alongside. And James Gunn would have tweeted, "We would never cancel another show just to do our movie." And then everybody claps and he stands there and accepts it.
Plus, we got to remember, CW's in the wrestling business right now. That's where they got their fingers on the pulse.
What
over
do
there.
Old people like? Wrestling. We can get wrestling.
You don't remember that episode where Clark tries to get his kids to go to that wrestling match? That's where the money's at.
That was us trying to reach out.
Trying to reach these kids.
Hilarious. But yeah, always a fun time. I love this show. I was having a little bit of a rough day when I started it, and just the music and the characters, familiar places and familiar plot points really made me feel like home. There was definitely parts that annoyed me, but it felt more like an annoying family member. Like I still have love for this show,
like Jordan,
even when it's annoying. Yes. Or like Sarah. Come on. There's a lot of
unlike Sophie, who can't be annoying when nobody sees you.
Yeah, there you go. But I'm ready for season 4, and I really, really hope they're able to hit this on a high note. A lot of those Arrowverse shows did not get to end well.
Did we? I know it was briefly mentioned earlier. Did we talk about like Lana and John?
Yeah, screwing. They dated and they screwed, and he made a cheese tortellini. And what's that going to be moving forward? Again, like the head of the fire brigade is banging the co-owner of the newspaper, while his ex-wife mayor is banging a doppelganger from the inverse. There's a lot going on, bro. There's a lot going on in Smallville.
I'm just glad that we're not revisiting these in depth. Like, I don't care about any of the side character stories where they left. I don't care to pick up on a single fucking one. They all ended perfectly fine.
Did you not care about Lana Lang getting her groove back?
No, I don't give a fuck.
Lana's just like, listen, I just need some dick.
We didn't even get jealous off of Beppo. What you doing, girl?
We didn't get a scene of her in a bra. There's no reason for this. There's no reason for this.
Emmanuel Shaquille's just like, I've done enough of that. Thank you.
One more for
now I get to do vague mayor things on screen.
You know what? I'll always regret that Elizabeth Tulloch, whatever the fuck her name is. Tulloch didn't shave her head. She just thought it wasn't. She's gonna do it for this.
Or a bald, like a really, really good ball cap. You know,
not even a ball cap.
That could have worked. It makes me laugh because I remember her making a joke that the reason why you used to see Lois in that hat is because it's freezing in Vancouver.
Yeah.
So whenever she could wear the hat, she would wear the hat because it was too cold. And then, like you said, she just basically has it on a lot of times now. She's loving it because it's cold.
I'm just glad to have a reason. And now I can always excuse the hat, like I have cancer.
Yeah. I saw somebody who worked on the show, who works as part of a Vancouver production company, also say that everybody on this cast was incredibly joy to be around, incredibly kind, and it was a cool project to be a part of. So again, man, just good people making good stuff. Keep it up and kick everybody else who's in a bad mood on that show off to the side, because we got places to go and some of these people just dragging us down. But they're not the only ones with places to go. We got places to go. We're finishing up this year as part of the Major Issues podcast. Another stellar year. We're gaining more and more fans. We're connecting more and more with you guys for good and for bad. Social media is a lot, bro. But we will be back next week. Until then, you guys can check out all the episodes of the Major Issues podcast wherever podcasts are found: Podbean, Stitcher, Podcast Addict, the Apple Podcast app, TuneFind, YouTube, Spotify, and more. We just entered our podcast into several other podcast directories, trying to cover all of our bases. But if you want one short fire place to find our stuff, go to comicbookclique.com. It's the one stop for everything we do. Comic Book Clique, articles written by us, every single episode of the Major Issues podcast, and it gives you links to not only our TeePublic, where you could purchase a piece of merchandise and we get a kickback from that, but also to our Patreon, where for as little as $3 a month, 10 cents a day, you can help us support us and give us the money we need to keep producing free content each and every week. We got some cool stuff coming down the pike, so make sure that you're paying attention. Make sure you're following us all over social media at facebook.com/comicbookclique, Instagram at comicbookclique, or you can use that hashtag comicbookclique to talk about the newest, hottest, latest, and greatest things to come to comic books and comic book media. We're at Major Issues CBC on Twitter. We're also at Major Issues CBC on Twitch. We got some DC stuff coming down the pike. We're going to be covering The Killer on Netflix soon. We'll be covering Mask of the Phantasm. We'll be doing Aquaman soon, and then giving you our predictions for 2024. It's going to be a hell of a year next year, but there's still some time in this one, so make sure you're spending it with us. If you don't want to buy a piece of merchandise and you don't want to give us money on our Patreon, it's trying times, it's the holiday season, I totally get it. Consider telling a friend about our podcast. Tell a friend to tell a friend is how we grow our podcast. Give us 5 stars on Apple Podcasts, and it helps other people discover the podcast, ends up getting them on the bandwagon before the bandwagon gets full. I've been to the future where we do become the latest and greatest things to come to comic books and comic book media, but I can't tell you how we do it, because next thing you know, we are going to get that spin-off, Sarah Knows Best or something like that. Nobody wants that. So do not mess up the timeline. Make sure that you are following everything that we do. Again, just look up Comic Book Clique. But this is the time I will allow you guys to pump what you guys are doing. Guys got a little wrestling thing you guys just started not too long ago, right? Little wrestling page, little wrestling podcast.
Tiny little thing. It's just a couple of people. No one really important.
We meet on Wednesdays.
Our little group. Listen to us over on Dirt Sheet Radio. It's a podcast about professional wrestling that is no longer alone. And you also have a slate of weekly post-show content, because when the show's over and you just can't get enough, hang out with us live on Facebook, YouTube, and X.
The podcast that is too controversial for press passes.
And then the podcast is the regular podcast where we talk about all the week's professional wrestling news. So come on, check it out.
Yeah. Check out those guys. There's going to be a link in the show notes to take you directly to the Facebook, which will take you everywhere else that you guys want to go. It's excellent stuff that they're handling over there, and they're getting even bigger. It's really exciting watching this grow and watching how many people want to help contribute to its growth. Has been really, really cool. There's definitely a Venn diagram where comic books and wrestling meet. Yeah. And it's super cool to play in the middle sometimes. So yeah, follow Dirt Sheet Radio. Make sure that you guys are here for the next episode of the Major Issues podcast. But I think that's all I got on my end. So My name is George Serrano, aka The Don.
This is John Escudero, aka Yogi.
And this is Gregory Thomas, aka GT Rebirth.
And this has been our Superman and Lois recap and review for season 3. And remember, whether you're from the suicide slums or the fields of Smallville, feel like you're made of steel or feeling a bit bizarro, remember that you are part of the clique, and always remember that you, yes, you, are worthy.